Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. In August 2017, I did something I never thought I would do. I started a YouTube channel. This followed many months of going back and forth in my mind, weighing the possible pros and cons. And in contrast to my personality, I started this journey with absolutely no specific goal or purpose in mind. I had never used social media before. I didn't know anything about making videos or even about being online. And I felt both scared and excited, curious and overwhelmed. All I knew was that there were some things that I wanted to share with the world and that this was something that I wanted to explore. I never expected to fall in love with being a content creator as much as I did. And today, in honor of my 4-year YouTube anniversary, I really felt like showing you more about that side of my life, my experiences, what it's like to be on YouTube as a job, as well as some really valuable and unexpected lessons that I learned along the way so far that I really wish I knew or had someone tell me when I first started out. These lessons, of course, apply to YouTube, but I feel most of them will definitely also apply to whatever kind of project or creative hobby that you're working on. So definitely stick around until the end, grab yourself something nice to drink if you want, and let's begin. Hey everyone, welcome to Simple Happy Zen. Hey my friend, welcome back. Hey there, welcome back to Simple Happy Zen. Simple Happy Zen just reached 100,000 subscribers. Wait a minute, my phone is ringing. Hey everyone, welcome back to Simple Happy Zen. Hey everyone, hey you guys, hey everyone. Learning a new skill is uncomfortable but priceless. When I started YouTube, I was a complete beginner and I felt like I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to do it, what to do, what gear to get, anything. And the more I learned about making videos, the more uncomfortable I got because I started to see just how many things I didn't even know that I didn't know. And it was very overwhelming at times. But being that beginner and going through all of the awkward stages of getting better at something, whatever that is so priceless. So if you are starting something new, really take pride in the fact that you are just a beginner and really own that you are just starting out. Don't feel like you have to know everything from the beginning before you can even start, because people respond to real people who are just doing their best like everyone else. And everything that is worthwhile will probably make you feel overwhelmed in the beginning, and going through all of that uncomfortable growth will eventually make you better at it. So it is all part of it. I have made over 230 videos by now, and when I look at my earlier videos, I cringe because I basically did everything wrong that you could do wrong. My makeup was really weird, my editing was all over the place, and I was just so stiff and uncomfortable in front of the camera. But I keep those videos up because they show my process, and I'm kind of proud of pushing through all of that awkwardness in the beginning. And I'm pretty sure that like 1 or 2 years from now, I'm gonna look at this video and cringe because there's still so much that I could get better at, and I still feel insecure and I still feel like I don't know what I'm doing half the time. That is just part of it. So don't wait until you feel like you're ready, because you're probably never going to start if you do that. Just start and go from there. Good things take time. Don't look for shortcuts. I've been on YouTube for 4 years, and it took me 2 years and well over 100 videos before I was able to make an income with it. And of course, this could be different for different people. So some people might get there sooner, others might take a little longer. But that was 2 years of weekly uploads and just putting a lot of time and energy into my channel every week. From then on, I earned a little bit more money every year until now I'm at a place where I make enough to live on. And I work about 40 hours a week, spread out over 7 days, and I still do everything myself. So the whole video process, all of the editing, all of the writing, contacting brands for sponsorships, making my website, replying to comments, writing and designing my own ebooks and online courses, and many more things. During my first year, when the growth of my channel was quite slow, I remember getting very excited when a collaboration offer came in, or when someone invited me on their podcast or to speak on their seminar, because I thought, oh, this is my big break. And it never was. And most of these things were very fun. I learned a lot from them. But when it comes to your business, I learned that most of the work just has to come from you, and don't depend on others giving you a shout out or secretly hope that someone will give you your big break, because shortcuts rarely work. When I uploaded my first couple of videos to my channel, I remember thinking, okay, so now I just have to wait and the views and the subscribers will start coming in, and the only one that watched my videos for months and months was my boyfriend. I also learned about the danger of measuring your success by numbers, whether that is YouTube views and subscribers, or the number of likes you get, or sales you make, or money you earn. Focusing on the numbers can drive you crazy, and it will suck away so much of the joy. The problem with measuring your success by numbers is that the bar that you measure them against can quickly rise just as well. So if you have 100 subscribers, just thinking like, oh, if I could get to the 10,000 mark, that would be a dream come true. But that will quickly become the 100,000 mark. And as your numbers rise, the bar just rises with it. And the numbers can also fluctuate a lot. It'll drive you crazy, and you will never feel satisfied. You'll never feel like you're there. It is so important to have something else to focus on and to measure your success by. And for that, it really helps if you know why you're doing it and what drives you, what gives you fulfillment other than the numbers and the likes and the money. If you know what that is, then you can use that to help fuel you and drive you forward and keep going at it, even when the numbers aren't always your friend, because they are not always going to be. What gives me the energy to keep working on it, even when the numbers are down, or when all I see are these red arrows going down in my YouTube analytics, is just the comments and the messages that I get from people saying how my videos have been helpful for them and how their life has been impacted in a number of ways through my videos or my products. I'm often amazed by what people tell me, and I think that is just so special, and I'm so grateful for it. When your hobby becomes your job. Another important thing to realize is that when you do something as a hobby or when you do it as a job, that is very different. And I do see this as my job. It is the best job I've ever had, and I'm really grateful for it. But in the end, I think it is important to take it seriously as a job, because this is my only source of income. And while I feel incredibly lucky and blessed and grateful that this is what I get to do for a living, like with any job, it's not perfect and it comes with its own challenges. One of the upsides for me is, for example, that I get to choose at any moment to take a day off or a part of the day off if I'm just really not feeling it, and just go to a cafe, read my book, or take my laptop to a cafe and work there if I need a change of scenery. And this flexibility, that is very important to me, because ever since recovering from my burnout, my energy levels are still not always stable. The downside of that is that you never really feel done, and it is very difficult to turn your work mind off and to create some kind of boundary between work and free time. And when your hobby becomes your job, you're still so passionate about it, it's very easy to keep thinking about it 24/7, and I spend so much of my mental energy thinking about it, and it's pretty easy to overwork yourself. Another thing that I think people might not know, and that I certainly did not realize myself before I started doing this, is that this job can be very solitary, and it does get lonely at times. And I miss having co-workers sometimes, because it is basically just always me alone sitting behind my laptop. Either I'm writing or I'm editing, and that can feel stifling at times. The importance of diversifying your income. I have learned the importance of not putting all of your eggs in one basket when it comes to your income as a YouTuber, and to not rely on AdSense income alone. And if you don't know what that is the money that creators make when you watch an ad that are playing on their videos. And earlier in my journey, AdSense made up most or all of my income, and that was very scary for a few reasons. And now AdSense is still my biggest source of income. It makes up about half of my total earnings, but I also have some income streams that come from Patreon, that come from sponsorships, and that come from my own ebook and 2 online courses that I made. And I will leave the links to all of these in the description box in case you want to check them out. So there are 3 reasons why it's important to diversify your income. And the first is that while AdSense is still very important for creators like me, it is not a very reliable or sustainable source of income in the long run. You never know how much you're going to get. It is very likely that one month you will make like half of what you made the month before, either because the views were lower or advertisers pay less. So it is not something that you can rely on. Also, at every moment there could be changes in international law or just the rules that YouTube has that greatly affect your income, and these things have happened before. And I felt really scared that this thing that I built and I worked at for so long, so hard, could suddenly just change and there would be nothing that I'd be able to do about that. And so it is very important to enjoy all of this in the now, but I guess also to not get too attached to it, if that is even possible, as well as to diversify your income. Second, if AdSense is your only source of income, then you know that your videos need to perform well in terms of the views that they get so that you can make enough money to pay the bills. And it puts this insane pressure on you as a creator, and things just take on a whole other dimension. It can get really stressful, and I've been there, so I know. And it can really stifle your creativity and make you want to make videos that you think will get clicks and views, instead of wanting to make videos because you feel like you have a story to tell or because you feel inspired to make something that you feel could potentially help a lot of people that watch it. And third, being a YouTuber means that you are self-employed, which means that you also need to start thinking about saving up for your retirement or having a few months of expenses saved in case of an emergency or in case something happens that will make you unable to work for a while. And if I only had my income from AdSense, I would not be able to think about any of these things, and that could potentially get me in trouble down the line. As a minimalist, something I had to think long and hard about were sponsorships. As my channel started growing, I got more and more offers, to the point where now I'm getting multiple offers from different brands every day asking me if I want to collaborate with them. When it comes to sponsorships, it is important to always prioritize the long game over the money that you can make from them in the short term. And I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that I turn down probably 98% of the offers that I get, because I only want to work with brands that I actually support and that I use myself and that I feel could actually add benefit for my viewers in a real way, and that they fit my values and my lifestyle and just what this channel is about. And I remember in the beginning feeling a little bit scared to turn them down because I didn't know if I would get another offer anytime soon. But in the end, even though sponsorships are very important just to support this channel, I also want to stay very critical and selective about which I agree to work with. You don't have to break the bank to start a YouTube channel. And I believe this goes for any type of project that you want to work on. You don't have to immediately go out and buy the fanciest, most expensive equipment and supplies. Just use what you have. I have everything that I use to create my videos listed on my website, as well as how and why I use them, so I will leave a link to that in the description box. But I actually got this channel to 100,000 subscribers using just a camera on my phone. I just filmed with my phone. I had a tiny tripod and I had this really affordable pin mic, and that's it. In fact, some of my most watched videos, even today, are the ones that I made before I made any kind of equipment upgrade. So don't let it stop you if you don't have the fancy things. Just start with what you have, learn, grow, see if you still enjoy doing it after a while, and if that is the case, then you can upgrade your equipment or supplies later. And this is the perfect time to take a short break to thank today's sponsor, Skillshare. They are a long-term supporter of this channel, and I really appreciate it. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes on different topics for different levels. It's been a really great resource for me when it comes to YouTube, and I learned about videography, photography, how to use my gear, but also writing, website designing, interior design, plant care, running an online business. There's so much. The class I'm currently watching is from Nathaniel Drew, How to Speak Confidently on Camera, and I'm really curious what I can learn from him. Even though I've become much more comfortable with the camera, he usually gives some tips that I've never heard or thought about. The classes are curated for learning and there are no ads. They're always adding new ones, so basically you will never run out of things to learn. If you're curious, the first 1,000 people to click the link in my description box will get a 1-month free trial, so you can already start exploring today if you like. And big thanks to Skillshare again for their support. Let's get back to the video. Hate and criticism are a part of it, but most people will be supportive. For many people, one of the main reasons that they feel hesitant about starting something new is that they fear the reactions from others. And I've learned while doing this that yes, hate and nasty criticisms are a part of it, but most people are actually really nice and supportive. Honestly, I am often blown away by the community that we have here. I think it is very special, and I do get hate sometimes, but when I compare it to some of the other channels that I see, it's really not bad at all. And I'm so grateful for everyone in this community because it does feel supportive and it does feel positive. And I always save my favorite comments in a little folder that I sometimes read whenever I need a little boost. And just replying to my comments when a video has gone up, it is one of my favorite moments of the week. It really lifts me up. And I also think that this is partly due to the fact that my channel grew and still grows slow and steady. Instead of growing from 1 or 2 videos that happen to go crazy viral. And I know that many creators dream about having a video go viral and just gaining thousands and thousands of views and subscribers overnight, and that used to be my dream too. But I realized that growing slow and steady is much better. Because I never had a video go viral, I know that the people who are here, they are here because they are genuinely interested in my content, and because of that, they will stick around much longer. Bigger is not always better. Don't do things just because others are doing them. And lastly, one of the things I learned is just how important it is to walk your own path and to really be intentional with what you want to get out of things and why you're doing what you're doing, and just really basing your choices and your business decisions on those things instead of just doing what others are doing. For example, because I'm interested in simple living, minimalism, intentional living, I like to keep my business small and simple as well. And one of the choices that I made, for example, is to not sign with a management agency. And this is not me throwing shade on anyone who decides otherwise. Of course, everyone should do what feels right for them. But for me, I want things to be small and simple. I want to retain my authenticity, my independence. Those things are so important to me. And I just don't want to sign with an agency just because that's what others are doing. Another example of a decision I made is not to sell low quality merch or to hire a video editor, for example. I like to keep things simple and small, and bigger, in my opinion, is not always better, and more is not always better, and you don't have to branch out if you prefer to keep things simple and small. It's really about why you are doing this and how you want to shape your business and your life, and basing your decisions on that. And I also want to take a short moment to thank you all for being here. As I'm filming this video, the channel is about to reach another milestone of 150,000 subscribers. And this has never been about the numbers for me, but just thinking about the fact that there are 150,000 people all around the world who clicked subscribe on one of my videos. That is just unbelievable. And I'm just so grateful for each and every one of you. I really feel it, and I still recognize so many of you in the comments sections of my videos, and I just really appreciate all the support, so thank you. Now I'm curious about you. Have you ever thought about starting a YouTube channel, or maybe you've already started, or something else that you're working on, as well as where you are in your journey? I would love to know, so please leave that down below. And if you want to learn more about exactly how I make my money with YouTube, what my days look like, what my work schedule looks like, how I grew my channel, any of that stuff, I recommend checking out this video right here, where I go much more in depth about all of that. Big thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video, and as always, questions, comments, conversations down below. Have a lovely day, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye bye.